WD Purple Storage offers all-frame technology built for always-on HD surveillance security systems.
Now, I'm sort of the resident artsy hipster wannabe type guy here at NCIX Tech Tips, and I've been searching for cases that have a clean, smooth, minimalist look in a small form factor that also don't cost an arm and a leg. So when I saw BitFenix's Pandora, which is exclusively available at NCIX, I was like, yes please. It's even got a front LED display called the BitFenix Icon, which is customizable to show whatever you want. So it's perfect, right? Well, you'll be the judge of that. Let's dive in, shall we? Now, one look at the exterior of the case can tell you the Pandora's greatest strength is probably its looks, with those beautiful brushed aluminum side panels, curving around the front to frame the glossy front panel with that aforementioned LED. There's an aluminum piece on the rear reminiscent of the older Mac Pros as well. The left side panel comes in both the full metal and window varieties to show off the goods, and the thin profile doesn't hurt either. It's a far cry from any of those other blocky full tower or even mid-tower cases. The actual dimensions are 160 by 420 by 465 millimeters. Now, of course, the trade-off you get when going for this as opposed to the behemoths is expandability, but the Pandora doesn't do too bad in that regard either, as we'll see. Let's take off both side panels so we can get a good look at the guts. Now, the side panels are fastened to the case using a ball and socket design, something that Jag and I had never actually seen in a case before, although there are some examples, they're rare. It does make the panels super easy to put on, although taking them off can require some force, and I kind of felt like I was breaking something every time I took them off. And the other thing with the side panel is that, like all brushed aluminum, fingerprints can be dangerous. They are very noticeable and very hard to get off without a proper cleaner. According to the internet, a half vinegar, half water solution is good for cleaning brushed aluminum, but to be safe, I used gloves while handling it. So taking a look inside, we see mounting points for MATX or MITX motherboards with room for CPU coolers up to 134 millimeters in height. No full-size boards here, but full-size GPU space. It accommodates graphics cards up to 350 millimeters. Heck, put 2 in there. There's 5 PCIe slots after all, you dummy. Now here we can see there is no rear fan mount because of the case's thin profile, so there is a trade-off. Down here we have rubber stoppers holding up the power supply, which gets a nice treat in this case. A little chamber with rubber grommets. To help manage your cables. It can be removed if you so desire, but since it helps you cable manage and has one of the 3 SSD mounts on the side, I don't see why you would. Speaking of storage, you do have an SSD mount right there, holes for a hard drive or an SSD under the cage, and an SSD mount on the other side of the frame here as well, and a hard drive mount on the top of the case right there. So that's 2 hard drive mounts, 3 SSD mounts, including the one for both. At first, it seems like a strange decision by BitFenix to not include drive cages, but I gotta admit, it does make sense. Chances are, if you're getting a smaller form factor case like this, you're not gonna need 8 hard drives. Now, moving to the front of the case, we see the intake holes that are hidden by the side panels normally, and the glossy front, which houses the Icon LCD display. This can display whatever the heck you want, which is a really cool idea. It's a 2.4-inch 240 by 320 TFT screen with an aspect ratio of 3:4, so you'll want to make sure any image you choose is that ratio. If it's not, edit it in Photoshop or Paint or whatever because it will stretch otherwise. All you have to do is plug the display connector into a USB header on your motherboard, download BitFenix's Pandora app, drag the image onto the app's icon, and it'll show up in the front. What crazy fun! Removing the front panel, we see a nice magnetic mesh fan filter and one 120mm Spectre fan with room for one more there, or a 240mm radiator. And there's a reason why you might remove the lower cage so you can access those lower fan screws. Moving to the other side of the case, we have the aforementioned SSD mount, as well as various loops to zap-trap cables to. Now here's the thing about this side of the case. If you, like me, tend to do a lackluster job of cable management, that's not gonna fly here. There is very little room between the frame and the side panel for cables, save for these little indents and such. There's a major one here. So don't expect to be able to just plug everything in and put the panel on and you're golden. Luckily, the case comes with a few Velcro bits and zap straps, so you've got that going for you, which is nice. And yes, you're tempted to be like, "Ah, come on, BitFenix, why so little room?" Well, look, as you can see, there is some room here, and in the little cage, actually, that's very helpful for cage management. Cage management. Cable management. You just have to, actually manage your cables. You wouldn't complain that your coop can't fit a couch in it. Otherwise, the whole slim profile thing would kind of be out the window. All right, let's look at the top. We got a brief look earlier. We've got the front I/O with 2 USB 3.0 ports, headphone and microphone jacks, flanked by the LED lit power and reset buttons, and the reset button also functions as your HDD LED as well. There's a removable fan filter with push releases on one side, so let's remove that. We have the 120mm fan here and the hard drive mount here. There is no mount for an additional fan in case you don't want a hard drive there, so unfortunately you will have to do with just the one mount on top. And that leaves the bottom. 4 foam feet and another magnetic mesh fan filter covering the PSU mount. So I think the bottom line here is easy to see. BitFenix went for a sleek, modern design first and foremost, and I think they've achieved that. It's not perfect, but the first iteration of a design rarely is. You've got to be careful with those side panels, cable management is a bit more of a necessity, and some more fan options would have been nice, but overall, this case still has great options for a powerful system. With room to put 2 full-size GPUs in SLI or Crossfire, a 240mm radiator spot in the front, and abundant fan filters, it's no lightweight. Now there are actually 8 variations to choose from, the variables being the window, the icon display on the front, and the color. It comes in silver or black. Like I said, it is available exclusively at NCIX right now. Links are in the description. What do you guys think of the trade-offs BitFenix made with the Pandora? What would you have changed? Leave a comment below. All right, that's about it for this overview of the Pandora. Thanks for watching, guys. Like the video if you feel like it, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this from NCIX.